How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to be showing you how to make trance like SG Lewis. Here's my remake of SG Lewis and Tovlo's track, Desire. Great, as you can hear, it's a really beautiful track, and the standout for me is the vocal from Tovlo and that lovely piano lead on top. Let's firstly start with how the piano lead was made. So for this, I used a third-party plugin, but you're more than welcome to use the Ableton Grand Piano. Piano sound itself comes from Ataria's Piano 3. This is a third-party plugin. You could also just go to Instruments and search for Grand. And if you go to, I think it's simpler, use the Grand Piano. I mean, it's going to sound very similar, but yeah, I just kind of like the way this one's recorded. So yeah, I've just got the Japanese Home Clean preset, but again, you can literally use any piano. It really doesn't matter. And yeah, I've got this nice reverb. If I take all the effects off, it's going to sound really flat. It sounds all right. It doesn't carry, so this adds a nice bit of a tail to it. And I've got this delay, which adds that sort of... Turn it on. If I make it more dramatic, you'll be able to hear it better. So it makes it repeat itself. This Ableton delay is really good. A lot of people use like third-party delays, but I really don't see the point. This delay is by far my favourite. You can also select ping pong, so it makes it left and right. Yeah, it's just a really good delay. So yeah, I fucked around downloading loads of like third-party plugins for delays, but in the end, I've ended up back at the Ableton Classic. I've also then made it a bit brighter with this EQ8. A lot of these sort of like 90s trance pianos are really bright, so you're really boosting that high end and taking out the lows. This helps it sit nicely above the sort of bass and drums. Without it, I mean, it's not that much of a difference, but it's the small little things that make the difference in the end. We've also got this side chain, which is just side chain to the kick. If we have a look at the notes themselves, yeah, we're in the key of S sharp minor. I mean, it's pretty simple. You just climb up the scale. So yeah, as you can see, these notes are staying the same. And these notes also just climbing up until you get to B, and then this little fall down thing here. But yeah, it's a pretty simple, laid back melody. You don't want to obviously go too much. You don't want to be like... Because otherwise you're going to get away in the vocal. Like if it's too busy. Like it's just going to sound messy. If you decide I want the vocal, when you've got a vocal with such a nice voice as that, then you want it to sort of take the main sort of stage. Great, now let's move on to the drums. Great, if we have a look at them piece by piece, we firstly got this kick. Just to let you know, all of these drums are from my new Trance drums pack. You can get that from the link in the description. The pack has over 400 of the sickest loops, one-shots and effects for making sick Eurotrance, just like DJ Heartstring, DJ Daddy Trance and many others. Check it out while it's still on sale. So yeah, firstly we've got this kick. This then has a nice clap on. Not many effects or no effects at all. We then got this top. It has a nice sort of swing in it. And then this perk. Make it a bit louder. If I show you how I made this perk, it's quite interesting. So what I did is get a drum rack. Drag that in. I then went to my pack and I went to the perk hits. So perk. I dragged all of these into the drum rack. I then started a MIDI, so I made a new MIDI, insert MIDI. You can then play all of them, so if you set this headphones, you can hear what they sound like. So, I mean, I'm just going to show you roughly what I did. It's not going to be the exact same, obviously. And then just sort of play it in. and then just sort of repeat it. I mean, obviously that doesn't sound too great because I've just rushed that and just clicked in anything. But yeah, you get the idea. It's a really good way to make sort of really good percussion loops. So yeah, definitely try that method out. Just make sure, yeah, you chuck lows in and then you can really get loose and weird with it. Let's move on to the bass. Let's firstly start with the notes. So yeah, we're in the key of F sharp minor, which would be here, but then we've dropped it down. This happens a lot in trance. You sort of drop it down, what I'd call a third, but I guess that's drop it down to a seventh. Actually, let's work it out. So third, fifth, to a sixth. So yeah, this would also be the first. If you pitch it down an octave, then you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's basically 2 down in the scale from the root note. So obviously we're in the key of F sharp minor, and that's the root note. So yeah, D up to E, and then it goes really deep on this one. You'll see if you go up, it's too high. This sounds fucking awful, like really tacky. So yeah, they had no choice but to really drop it down that low, then back up. It's quite a weird progression, to be honest. So it's made in Serum, and it's actually a preset for my Eurotrance Serum preset pack. This came out at the same time as a drums pack, and it's sort of like almost like a joint pack. But yeah, definitely check that out. That's on the same website. The link for that is in the description. Great, so yeah, let's have a look at how this patch is made. So yeah, it's quite a nice wide bass pluck. So in oscillator A, we've just got basic shapes and this nice saw wave. Got the exact same in oscillator B, and they're both pitched down by an octave. But in oscillator B, I've actually upped the unison, and that's what's making it wide. So if I exaggerate it, you'll hear it getting a lot wider, especially if you're wearing headphones. If I get rid of that, it's much more down the middle. You up the unison. You don't overdo it, so that's why I've kept it like low. But yeah, it makes it a lot wider. Sort of mixes it up from your normal sort of straight down the middle bass pluck. So yeah, it just makes it a bit different. Because you kind of want, if on every track, if you're using the exact same sort of bass preset, it's going to sound a bit samey, isn't it? So it's like things like this which help your track sound different to the last one you made. In terms of effects, I mean, yeah, you've got this hyperdimension, which is making it a little bit wider, nice bit of reverb, and this compressor, which is basically just making it louder. Yeah, we've also got this EQ, which is rolling off a little bit of the high end. In case you're new to making basses, if you've not seen my other videos, the main pluckiness from the sound is coming from this envelope. So if I was to delete this, it would look like something like this, and then you also got to shape it. And this is also the amplitude envelope, so the volume. You drag that onto the cutoff. And then you can shape it, make it shorter. But yeah, if you're new to sound design and can't be asked to make your own basses from scratch, then definitely check out my pack. If we have a look lastly at the pad, pretty simple pad. The notes, E, A, the A continues, and then we go up the E, but up an octave. So this is literally the same note as that, but an up an octave. Yeah, it's pretty simple. With trance, you kind of want it to be sort of uplifted in a way. So that's why it's good to have a pad start low and then get high. Yeah, and the second note's pretty similar as well. Just C sharp and then back up to E. So yeah, pretty similar. And you guessed it, the preset is from that Serum preset pack. But it's pretty simple, really. If you go to analog, basic, WRD, select both of those. One's pitched down an octave and one is pitched up 7 semitones. So without it, you pitch it up. It creates like notes within itself. So although we're keeping it simple here, this is now also pitched up by a 7th as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is the notes that are actually playing because we've got that second oscillator pitched up by 7 semitones. So these are just these notes, but with an extra 7 semitones pitched up. The key to making a good pad is lots of reverb. As you can see, the decay is at 10.6 and the mix is at all the way to 100%. And for me, that is how you get a nice sort of floaty pad. It's also important to sidechain it to the kick. Overdoing it, I mean, it's sort of a style choice. Also, a lot of this new like flutter house or whatever it's called has like that. But yeah, I like to keep it sort of about halfway. Great guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you found that video useful. I hope it wasn't too chaotic. I feel like I was a bit all over the place. But yeah, definitely comment down below which videos you want to see next, and I will see you next time. Cheers.